Good evening, everyone. Welcome to The Current, where we bring you fresh live music to your living room each Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We get together and share moments that inspire and move through classical and contemporary classical music. At least while live concerts are unable to happen, this is how we present, connect, and feel through what we do best. Thank you for joining us for this special music adventure. My name is Mark Sullivan. I write for the website All About Jazz, and I'm pleased to present a program of improvisational guitar music tonight. First up is Charlotte, North Carolina native Troy Kahn. He started playing guitar at age 13, and soon after he was playing shows before he could even drive himself to them. Versatile in jazz, classical, and rock music, he is a member of several bands as well as an active teacher. Troy, where are you broadcasting from, and what music will you be playing?
Oh, I'm broadcasting from my music room here at my house here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and yeah, kind of cramped in here, but it works. So I figured I would play for you, play for everybody of a tune. It's not a new one, and Mark, you might even remember this one. I did this at Petrus when we were doing the jazz workshop with Shaughnessy. But I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I wrote a prelude to it, and so this is a tune titled "Quiet."
All right, over to you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was so cool. I think it's different than anything I've ever heard you do.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I wanted to write something.
Lots of nice.
I'm sorry, I just lost.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay. Some, some nice comments. David Torrance says, nice.
Oh man. Oh, man, thank you for having me on this. David and Dom, man, I'm just honored to be, sharing this virtual stage with you guys. Seriously, man, this is like what a treat. I mean, this is just something else. So I can't think of a better way to spend a Tuesday evening. My gosh,
That is really cool. I'm happy I could help with that. He also had comments of that was cosmic, and a comment on your mood changes and superb,
Oh well, thank you.
lots of stuff. But let me ask how are you going to be asking everybody? How are you doing?
Well, we're doing okay. I mean, it's definitely, difficult times. There's a lot happening in the world right now. Uh, it's pretty much all my work has dried up, as I assume with most people. So I mean, it's been difficult in that way, trying to figure out what to do and stay active. I have a little 7 month old little boy, and so I spend most of my days taking care of him, which is awesome. I feel guilty most days because I have all this time to hang out with him. There's so but that's great. So he hears more guitar than a 7 month old baby should ever hear, probably. And so but yeah, it's tough, but there's beautiful things happening. This is an awesome thing to be a part of, and you guys are doing a beautiful thing, keeping music happening online. I've just recently started playing out some, but only outdoors. I don't think I'm ready to do anything indoors yet. Maybe soon, but
How did that feel? How long had it been when you?
it had been right at 3 months
Wow.
for me, I guess. So the last time I played in front of anybody was like it was right before St. Patrick's Day, So, uh, so yeah, it had been a while, and I mean, it felt great. It was awesome. It was just a duo gig, just myself and a drummer, OC Davis, here in town, and it was just fantastic. It was just the gig was only an hour, and it was outside in the hot, right in the hot sun. But it was fantastic. To play music and with somebody else, and so. So we're getting through. I mean, this is it's difficult, but we're doing the best we can, and trying to look after us and other people, and so yeah, we're getting through it. There's so I don't know, kind of rambling here, so I don't know.
I understand. And so thanks so much for doing this.
Oh, can't thank you enough for having me. It's great. Looking forward to hearing Dom and David later. So,
All right. Now let me make my pitch for contributions at this point. Please consider contributing to the performers on our show. Some of who have been out of work since mid-March and have not had much, if any, relief. We are thankful that 89.9 WDAV Classical Public Radio has committed to donating $50 each month to the artists we present. And you spare some change or maybe even match what they're giving. And if you got on the screen all the places that you can go to donate. If you go to the charlottenewmusic.org website, they'll all be listed there for you too. All right. So our second player, Don Benassi, has been playing guitar for over 50 years. In 1974, he was signed to Blue Note Records. After 2 albums, he left the recording business and did not record again as a leader until 1999. Since 2015, Dom has mostly recorded for the label Unseen Records. His most recent release is Remembering Cecil, which came out in April 2019, an homage to the deceased giant of the avant-garde. Dom, where are you broadcasting from, and what music will you be playing?
I'm from New York City. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm from New York City. And by the way, I just want to say that Troy's piece was just wonderful. I really enjoyed it. So, New York City. I'm broadcasting from my studio that's in my apartment that I have blacked out because all you see are files and music all over the place. and it's a mess, but that's the way it is. I have a drawers filled with music. I have files filled with group music for my different groups, and so it just keeps piling up, you know. So so that's where I'm at right now.
All right. Well, let's hear you play.
Okay, so this is going to be a free piece. What free piece means I'm just going to make it up as I go along. Okay, let's just check on the balance. Okay. Thank you.
Yep, mute myself. All right. Thanks so much for that, Dom.
You're welcome.
Really went lots of places.
Oh, yeah. That's what I do.
Troy,
Yeah.
Troy Kahn says, bravo.
Uh-huh. Thank you.
So how have you been doing?
Actually, I'm not doing bad because in New York City a few years ago, everything became what we call door gigs, where people had to, you invite your friends, then maybe you make some money, maybe you wouldn't. So I stopped doing those kind of performances, and I built up a teaching practice. And so now I'm teaching online almost every day. So that's how I'm how I'm surviving. And I'm not getting crazy about going out because all my work is in the house, in my studio. I compose, I write, I teach, practice. So I'm okay with it. And I've been tested for the virus, and I'm okay. You know. So
Great.
you know.
Now, one other question. I thought we might talk a little bit about how you got into free jazz. I'm assuming you
Okay.
didn't start out playing that.
No, I didn't. I started off as a bebop player. But when I was 15 years old, I always had a trio and not a working trio, just a trio that got together and played together. And I used to, when I was 15, I used to hang out at the original Birdman because they had a peanut gallery for kids.
Hmm.
You had to be like, if you were under 18 or 20, yeah, 18, you had to sit in the back. You couldn't drink. You could order a Coke. And I used to hang out there all the time. I used to tell my mother I was going to the movies, and I'd jump on the train and go into the city, and I'd catch the greatest musicians in the world. And they were all very, very adventurous. I learned how to play, actually, how to improvise by watching these guys play. I mean, Miles Davis, John Coltrane, you name it, I saw them play. And big influence on me. So with the trio, I started to incorporate some of that stuff when I was a kid. But when I became a full-time musician, I couldn't play that way. I had to play very commercial, inside, inside, on the bar, don't pass the bar line. So I played like that. But in my heart, I always wanted to take chances and do other things. So after recording for Blue Note and doing all kinds of stuff, I decided when I came back I was going to go that route, and especially after hearing John Coltrane and Eric Dolphy and Albert Ayler, that's the route I wanted to go. And I got involved with groups that I could write for and I could play for, and then have my own groups and do it that way. And I recorded for Cadence Records and Simp, and then after that, I opened up my own label for a while, and my first recording was taken to Duke Out, which I thought it would end my career totally, but it actually boosted it and did more for me than Blue Note. And so I've been doing that since. So when I go out and play, it's usually on the road, and I have to really be careful where I play and the places I choose, because a lot of people just are not into this kind of music. You know, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you start playing music that would scare your neighbors?
Yeah. But one of the things I wanted to do was stay away from effects. I mean, I don't put down the guys who use it. That's great. They all do it really great. I'm not into it. The only effects I use are the ones I can create on the guitar. You know, so I wanted it to be all natural. I wanted it to come from a real bebop jazz place, and I wanted to incorporate all that in my playing. So I think I've accomplished that. Anyway, I think, you know.
Yeah,
But I'm always trying. There's always new roads to go.
no, it's great. Thanks so much for coming along tonight with us.
Thank you for having me, Mark. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right.
Take take care.
Hey, you too. All right. Once again, please consider contributing to the performers on our show. Some of whom have been out of work since mid-March and had not much, if any, relief. Once again, we've got the list of places that ways you can contribute, and you can always go to charlottenewmusic.org and find links to all of those places if you don't do it right now. Well, last but not least, I'd like to introduce David Horne, who's a legendary experimental guitarist, also a film composer and producer, and he's very busy as a mixer as well. Live looping has long been a part of his trademark sound, both as a soloist and in his playing with groups. He's been an ECM Records recording artist for most of his career, off and on at least, and his most recent ECM release was Son of Goldfinger, his group with saxophonist Tim Byrne and percussionist Chess Smith. And he recently released a solo record called Fur/Torn, which is an album of solo guitar with electronics on Byrne's Nine Donkeys label, which you can find on Bandcamp. So, David, where are you broadcasting from, and what music will you be playing?
Uh, I'm talking, but I don't hear any response. So I'm
Oh,
in.
I hear you now.
Okay, I'm in Woodstock, New York, at Applehead Recording, which is a place that I'm comfortable playing and record here a lot, and it's very close to my home, and friends are around, and it's a nice place to be. That's where I am.
Cool.
And shall I begin?
Go right ahead.
I'm gonna take these headphones off so it doesn't feed back and stuff.
All right.
Okay. Mark.
Wow, David.
I wasn't really watching the clock there.
That's all right. I wasn't either. Well, lots of comments on your playing here. There's one especially nice one from Bob Ross. David's uncanny ability to blend, balance, and mix live seamlessly has always been spectacular. Oh, while creating, playing too.
Oh, that.
It is, yes. It's an amazing thing.
I mean, not so much unlike Dom, but unlike Dom, that was all free.
Yep, that's
Not in the same way and not coming from the same places all the time, but I had some loops going when I came out, and I immediately changed them because I always do that. If I make a sound check and I have something in a loop that I like, I leave it up before I start playing, and then I forget what it is, and I put it up and change it as soon as I can. So.
well, you certainly got facility for changing things. I particularly like the stretches where you stop playing and just manipulate.
Yeah, it's still
amazing.
playing.
Right.
It's like it's a perspectival thing, right? Some people think of it because they think of electronics as something that's not humane. Will think of it as more in the terms of like manipulating a machine. I think about a guitar as the same kind of a machine as I do the knobs and the signal flow even of what I'm doing. So to me, it's just all one thing. It's that Russell Hoban, the great author, once said, "There are no digressions. It's all one thing." And it's a little, philosophical, but it always comes up in my head whenever I think about this shit, Excuse my language, right?
Yeah, I think we're all adults here.
Kids. If my granddaughter's listening, she's going to be mad. She'll say, "Oh, Papa, what up?"
Language. So we spoke recently, and you mentioned you had a house full of family and a tremendous mixing schedule. Those things still true?
Yes, because Tim launched Nine Donkeys, and I was key to the launch in terms of getting the masters, and in some cases, kind of forensic masters done to get all this stuff released, including Fur, which came out, I guess, on May 1st, and which is still for sale, of course, and 4 records that came out on this past Friday, and Tim's first solo record that he ever did. And at the same time, I'm in the middle of mixing a multi-record set for Matt Mitchell and and Kate Gentile's band. And at the same time, this is terrifying, but at the same time, I was mixing for an artist in Switzerland, whose name is Dave Giesler, and I was also stopped everything to begin mixing a Vijay Iyer record, which I'm no longer working on, but that's okay. And it just, and I had a house full of folks, and I love them all dearly. It was intense for all of us to be together in one place. My oldest son, his wife, their 2 children. It was very intense to be in our small house together for whatever it was, 7-8 weeks. But my other son is safe upstate New York on his farm, so we were all at my place, and it was intense. It was a lot. Pandemic, Pandemic made everybody a little crazy.
Well, there's a whole bunch of other questions and comments about your setup. So
Okay.
I'm going to have to prevail on you to talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Oh, you want me to initiate that discussion?
Yeah,
Is there a specific question? Because I think a lot of people know, and some people don't, that I am since the early 1980s. I've been live sampling myself, in real time. And also, as you'll hear on the upcoming Son of Goldfinger record, and as you heard on the Presence record, if you're aware of that record I did for ECM in 2008, I also sample other instruments live. Specifically, with Presence, it was a lot of Tim, a little bit of drums, some Craig, and Taborn, and with Son of Goldfinger, the beginning of Son of Goldfinger, I was sampling Tim a lot, and you'll hear that on the next Nine Donkeys release through Screwgun in July. We're putting out another Son of Goldfinger record at that time, and so I've done this live sampling thing. I keep looking to my left rear, which you can't see, but I have pictures of people over there and nothing over here, except my rack. So I have a rack here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 or 4 ways of sampling what I'm playing while I'm sampling it. Sometimes I know what I'm sampling, and sometimes I have specifically made it so I don't know what's going to come out. When I'm sampling something, I'm not listening to the sampler at all until I bring it in, and then I work with it. Like that's what other people call manipulating it. I call it playing it, but that very thing. So that is at the core of this stuff, especially. I mean, I think I play a lot of guitar these days, like guitar, not that many effects, a fuzz box, maybe one sampler, and I play in my house, and it's much simpler than this. But when I perform, I want it to be like a whole music, so I use it all.
Well, let's see.
Does that clarify anything?
A little bit. Let's see. Well, somebody's asking whether you're using a Chase Bliss mood pedal.
I am using a Mood, 2 Hexi revolvers, and one of which is a DXL, which is a specialty one. Actually, they're both special ones, but in some way. I'm using a Lexicon PCM 42, Mood, and 2 Hexi revolvers for sampling.
All right.
Yep.
And a bunch of mixing pedals, I'm guessing, on the floor?
I have 4 voltage control pedals that don't pass any audio, but I can play them with my feet and bring things in and out with my feet without bending down. The only time I bend down really is to either tweak a fuzz box or touch one of the samplers that's on the floor and change their pitches or change the filtering on them. Change their volumes. And I don't mind that. I also have a little table. There's the rack right in front of me, which has a reverb, the Lexicon PCM 42, and a full-on mixer, which I'm always playing with. And then next to it is a reverb, a delay, a blooper, and a mood. I wasn't using the blooper so far tonight, but I will after you guys leave.
That's no fair.
It's fair. It's all recorded.
All right. Well, I'm just delighted that you agreed to do this, and it was just as always a blast to hear you play.
Great. It was really fun. I wish I could see the chat and stuff, but I can't see it. Actually, you know what? I can. It might create feedback. Let's hope it doesn't. I think I have the mic off. Let's see. I just want to see if anybody said, "God, what an asshole." Oh, not that many. Oh, good. Okay, there it is. Right. There it is. I knew it. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. Oh, I guess I answered pretty much everything, yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, great. That was fun. Thank you so much for doing this, and thanks for keeping it going as a weekly thing, you guys, all of you. Elizabeth, everybody else that I don't know, you, Mark, it's great. It's great to see this happening. Like other people, I'm only working at home, and that's not the same for me. In the last couple of years, I've done a lot more playing out and touring again, and that stuff has all, ended. Some really cool things did not happen, of course, because of the pandemic, but I'm living through it, so I feel lucky still.
All right. Well, thanks again, David.
All right.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in. And please tell your friends and colleagues about our show. Don't forget about all the different ways to contribute, which you can find on charlottenewmusic.org. You can also sign up for a newsletter there. And there is an upcoming online festival starting next week, the Charlotte New Music Festival, which has been an annual thing. This year it's going to be virtual. It runs from June 15th to 27th. And thanks again to all three players for making this a memorable evening.
You there, Mark? Well, I can't hear you. Yeah, I'm on my me account now.